Welcome to the Clutch Buckets Podcast. My name is Josh Tyson.
And I'm Kyle Spence.
Their profession, our passion, your court, check ball. Let's ride,
Check
y'all.
ball. Now, Tyson, who we got with us today?
Hopping on today. We got a special guest. We're blessed to have you today, my boy Juwanza McIntosh, a basketball connoisseur. What's good, Juwanza?
What's good? What's good? I appreciate y'all for having me on. I'm excited. Come here, share some real calm, easygoing opinions. Don't want to shake the boat too much, but we'll see what happens.
Juwanza already started out talking about how arrogant Steph Curry is, so we don't know if he's trying to be calm at all. But welcome to the Clutch Buckets
Podcast. Shaking the boat, man. This dude trying to sink it like that Titanic. We're going to have some hot takes today. That's all good.
Even trying to ease in, so it's all good. So we're going to hop right into it because we're going to start off with what we just saw last night. USA versus Canada exhibition game that took place where the team USA beat Canada 86-72 with leading scorers between Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, and even Drew Holiday, where they're all in double digits for that game. It was pretty straightforward, but I want to hear, Juwanza, let's start off with you. Did you see any parts of the game? And if so, what were your thoughts about it?
Yeah. I saw a decent amount. We saw Canada come out real strong, which wasn't a surprise. I feel like they're like a top 3 to 5 team in the world right now. And so a lot of talent on the squad. But I want to take it just a slightly different direction. The US started slow, which we expected. But there's a reason why. And that's because they've been practicing for like 48 hours. That's pretty much the issue. A lot of talent. We all expect gold. We expect talent to get to the top. But my issue is actually with Grant Hill and Colangelo. What he said when Grant Hill came on, what he said was, what we're going to do is practice. We're going to set a team. And for 4 years, we're going to practice regularly so that we can keep up with the world so we don't get embarrassed like we did a while back. Even last year wasn't that good of a team. I don't know, not last year, last Olympics wasn't that good of a team. Right? And so the point was to build chemistry. Like you got, Spain and Serbia, these kids playing
together forever.
17,
right.
And what they got is chemistry.
Yeah.
And we keep saying, throw a bunch of stars together and we'll be good. And I expect us to be good this year, but you have to wonder, once these old guys retire, they don't got another Olympics in them, where's it going to go? So it's just something to think about with these slow starts and how things are going. It's a little worrying because Serbia's not going to play that game. France not going to play that game. I don't know, man.
Spain's not gonna play that game.
Nah, not at all, man. But yeah, that's a great take though, man. Because especially with these international stars taking over NBA, we can't sleep on international folk no more. And like a lot of the great players, SGA is gonna be one of the top superstars coming through. He's on the squad, man. Like, we can't sleep on this anymore. And like you said, with the chemistry, these boys play together. They're from the same country. That chemistry that they build all around is something. So this narrative about putting a whole bunch of superstars together does not work even in the NBA anymore. We see that with the Suns, what they did in Brooklyn. That's not the narrative. It's putting a lot of like-minded, a lot of good, talented people around each other, like they're doing currently with the Thunder, building them up, building some chemistry, and then they win.
Right.
So
that's what we've been saying.
Is that why they didn't choose Jaylen Brown to backfill Kawhi Leonard, who just left because of knee inflammation over the past couple of, plays and sessions that they said, you know what, let's sit you out for this and get you prepared for next season. And so U.S. Olympics decided to backfill with Derek White from the Boston Celtics instead of Jaylen Brown. I'm curious because you said about that cohesiveness, Juwanza and Tyson, is that possibly why they were looking for somebody that's more defensive minded? What was their thought process behind that? And also, what did you think about Kawhi leaving the team, the U.S. team?
Go ahead, Juwanza.
Let's get to it. Jaylen Brown is being blackballed.
All around.
That's what it is. Let's just call it out. no one in their right mind is thinking that Derek Williams, who I'm a big fan of, is
Derek
better
White?
than Jalen Brown. Derek White is better than Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown's one of the best two-way players in the league, and this team is supposed to be built on defense.
Yep.
He's not on the team because of Nike. We saw, and he was putting himself out there. I don't know if y'all saw last night or the night before. He was tweeting like some passive aggressive stuff, a little annoyed. It sounded like he didn't get picked up after Kawhi got let go. But the reality is they don't like him because he speaks out too much.
Right.
And that's the only reason you would not have Jalen Brown on this team, and you would have White on instead. And I'm a fan of White, a great role player, but not in the same stratosphere. So, yeah.
Okay. Tyson, no, what you think?
It's a shame all around. But first, I want to address Kawhi. I mean, of course, we knew this was going to happen, man. Kawhi just can't stay healthy for anything. Absolutely anything, man. You can't rely upon this dude, man, when it counts the most. And, man, not to miss the Olympics, man. That happens every year. Ain't no way he's going back. Ain't no way I'm missing that, bro, at the end of the day. Like, I would have put my everything into the Olympics because this is going to be more of achievement than really anything that you were kind of doing in the NBA. You win the Olympics, bro. You top of the stratosphere, especially if you dominate and you take over. So if I was Kawhi, man, I would have stayed all day. We've seen this load management lifestyle Kawhi has been living in for the last decade. And for them to bring him back, be like, no, he needs to go ahead and rest up for the season. This man rested for like 2 years. And he still wasn't good. Let the man play. If I was Kawhi, I'd be like, nah, man, especially on this level, especially now, because, especially with the talent that's arising from international teams and these international stars that we have in the NBA, it's even more important that we have the best of the best from the NBA on the USA side in there. This is going to be I believe this is going to be one of the best NBA Olympics, man, we've seen in a very long time, man, especially with this talent out here. But you can't count on Kawhi, man.
I think that Kawhi Leonard is, like you said, he has fuel in the tank, but a nail in his tire. So even though you might be ready to run, you don't even have it. So you don't have the legs to ever keep up.
Nah.
If he misses this, I don't think he's ever returning to any type of U.S. team at all. No American team for any type of Olympics whatsoever. This was his opportunity, and now that opportunity has come and gone. So either way, I think that it's the replacement with Derek White is still good. I don't have any issue with it. If you are a Celtics player, automatically I'm fine with it. But I do think that Juwanza said it correctly, that this looks like some blackballing type situation where Jaylen Brown may have just been more so siding with some things that Kyrie Irving may have been saying, or just kind of in some low-key support of Kyrie Irving's thought processes. And that's probably spilled over because what we saw, Eastern Conference MVP, Finals MVP, but he doesn't even get the NBA 2K25 cover. They've given that to Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is also on the U.S. team. And then Derek White is the backfill. Now they have
all people, man.
three, Drew, Jason, and Derek White, and you couldn't get Jaylen Brown, who's a two-way player on that team.
Man. The narrative too, man. The narrative too was, we're not going to do another Celtics player. We already got Drew. We already got Tatum. And then we're gonna go for White.
right.
Of all people, like, yo, come on, man. Just keep it real at the end of the day, because there's no excuse around that. What you about to say, Juwanza?
No, I was saying the Celtics are sort of good, so it makes sense for you to get some of their players on the team. Now, he's the first MVP to not be on the Olympic squad.
That's wild.
It's something to say. It can't be a coincidence.
And there's nothing to be ignored either, because it's kind of like, the dog whistle is there. And you're saying the quiet part out loud. Like, come on, we know what this is. But shout out to the U.S. team, at least successfully beating Canada in the exhibition game. It was pretty blah at the end, down the stretch. So there wasn't really any competitive spirit that I saw. They were missing a lot of shots. This was a low scoring game, 10-minute quarters. So I guess it's just different all around. But that aside, let's get to some NBA stuff because we're looking at some trades, we're looking at some acquisitions, and I want to start off with the one that we talked about last episode. Where was Klay Thompson going to land?
Yo,
Guess where he people landed in Dallas.
Yeah.
Now he's teaming up with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Do you think now that's a big three? What do you think, Tyson?
Fellas, if we can just take a moment, man, if y'all can close your eyes and we could just take a moment, man, to honor the Warriors dynasty for Klay's departure. If we could have a moment of silence, man. That was for me. That was tough, man. Right there. I mean, Klay, I mean, y'all talk about, man, the staple in the Warriors. One of the reasons why the Warriors were a dynasty for so long, man. And for them to let it go on that type of tip, man, like, yo, you were right there with the numbers. Y'all could have just easily gave this man what he needed, bro. But at the end of the day, man, Klay wanted more money. He saw what everybody else was getting. He saw what Draymond had got. He saw what Wiggins had got. He saw what everybody else in the market was getting. He was like, yo, I deserve it too. And I mean, he bet on himself and he lost. He got less money. But at the end of the day, this dude just wanted to be, man, in the environment. And I kind of feel it. That really respect him, where he felt worth at the end of the day, man. I mean, the numbers, man, that they were throwing out, man. They did. If you go back, y'all, in January, they offered him 48 mil for 2 years. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that was on Klay. But for him to end like this, man, I hate to see it. Well, I mean, where do the Warriors go from here, man? They picked up a couple, man. But I don't know. What are your thoughts, Juwanza?
Yeah. I wanna take a moment to just note the end of the Warriors dynasty in celebration.
Okay. All right.
It's celebration. Thank
Kyle, can we go ahead and stop the recording real quick?
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna put him on mute real quick.
This team is finally done.
Jeez, bro.
The
hate is so real, bro.
I love this. Of terror and arrogance, literally ruining the game of basketball is over. Finally, this pace and space, having the initiation of the play being at half court, and all this foolishness, almost destroying the big man in the game. Thank God it's coming back. I am so excited, and let's get down just to the simplicity of it. Klay wanted to stay, but wanted to be paid like 2017 Klay, 2016 Klay.
He did.
He has, out of the big three, he's had the largest drop-off out of the rest of them.
Yeah.
A shell of him's current self. Still a good player, by the way. Still a good player. Not a good defender. He was a good defender for like a year, and he's been eating off of that year for a long time.
A year? Wow. Man, yeah, you just go ahead. Negate like 5 years. He was one of the top defenders. Okay.
He was top average.
Two-way defenders out there. Okay.
I mean, compared to Steph, I guess, it's easier to look good, I suppose. But the point is, he didn't want to come off the bench. They had what's the name? Podziemski, young boy coming off the bench who's just more energy, more defense. And now they got they replaced him as he went to he's going to Dallas. They replaced him with Buddy Hield, who's not much better, really, just a different player, probably also going to come off the bench. So Klay wanted to get paid in a way where he really shouldn't have. I wish he had took the money. It would have been a better story for him to take the money and stay. But now he wants to go to Dallas. Will they do anything? Are they any different? I don't know. It's a big three with no real defense. Your star has to get bullied into playing defense. I don't know if that works for real, but they did make it to the finals. We'll have to see. But in the end, Klay left because of arrogance. He wanted to get paid way more, and in the end, he didn't deserve to get paid like that. And it's too bad. But the rest of us, the purists out there, are celebrating. We're gonna toast the rest of the summer, man.
Well, I know that Klay was averaging last season about 38% from three-point land. He always kind of hovered in and around that low 40s. So he did have some drop-off that was quite noticeable. Even his three-point attempts seem to have been slightly down. So I think that this is his opportunity to redeem himself, at least from the shooting perspective. I don't expect anything from him defensively at this point. He has gotten multiple surgeries. There's no way he's going to all of a sudden pick up some stem cell type of recovery to where he's able to move
Go overseas like Kobe.
laterally. Right. So I'm just expecting him to really focus on his shot because that's what they're looking for at this point. We need wing shooters. And if you could stay in front of your man, that's even better. That's icing on the cake. I don't see them making this something that's extremely significant. They did make it to the finals last season. I don't see them making the finals this season. I do think that there might be other teams on the rise, but I do think that it is still a good acquisition for what it was, all things considered. On the Golden State side of things, it's
rough,
done.
man.
We know that it's done. I'm not going to celebrate like Juwanza, but I definitely understand the sentiment of fans who may not be for the Warriors that it's over. It is
unless
over.
they get marketing. It's still a chance. It's still an opportunity, bro.
Who they gonna give up for marketing? You know how many
I would give
picks
up
you're gonna
everybody
have to
else. I would literally,
come
I
up
would give
off?
up Wiggins. I would give up Wiggins, bro.
Yeah,
because
but you're gonna have to give
that
up
was a
Wiggins
major
and
drop
picks.
off. Yeah.
Yes, that's
I don't know
absolutely
what,
right.
but he had some family issues, so that's understandable.
Yes,
But he never recovered from that, man. I mean, it was
that's true.
abysmal. He had an abysmal season. So,
But you did
hey,
say marketing is a good choice.
yeah,
It's gonna be a lot to get him. I don't think it's gonna be cheap. I don't think it's gonna be cheap whatsoever. It's not like just a swap. It's gonna be Wiggins and another player and maybe a pick.
yeah. But I believe, they got to throw everything. They got to take advantage, man, of the couple years that Curry has left. Now, he's in great prime shape, and he had one of his best seasons last season. So I think he has about 3 more years, but you got to take advantage of that, man. Like, I would throw the whole kitchen sink out there, bro. Like, we got to capitalize on this. I mean, you get marketing. Think about that, man. Marketing coming up for the screen and rolling right there. Like, that's off the chain, man. My man can go to the basket. He can shoot. He's a younger version of Porzingis, but he's more athletic all day.
Yeah.
So, man, I really think, man, that they really need to capitalize on this. If they don't, man, it's gonna be terrible moving forward, man, because they're not even close to contenders right now. Close to contenders.
They're not. No. I mean, Buddy Hield acquisition is cool and all, but it's kind of like you just switched out Klay for Buddy. It's like switching out Snickers for Kit Kat. Okay, cool.
And y'all, if y'all think about it, man, like Buddy Hield wasn't even played in the playoffs this past year, bro. Right. He didn't play like that till the last game.
Yeah, like, and he's an older player. People don't really look at how his age is impactful here. Yeah. But anyway, staying out west real quick, because there has become a new big three with DeMar DeRozan going to the Sacramento Kings, signing with them. Now he's teaming up with De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis on that side of things. Is this a good move? Juwanza, what do you think about that?
I think it's a good move, but not a good enough move. I'm interested in the Kings for sure, but they were like, ninth seed, like last year, talking about some playing type stuff, and now this DeRozan helps. He's older, has a great range game. I don't know if this is exciting. I feel like this is like a solid 6th, 7th seed type of move where they're going to be able to make a little noise, but not enough. The West gets deeper every 10 minutes, right? It gets better and better. That's why the Warriors don't have a chance. That's why it's going to be hard for the Kings to really make some noise. I'm going to watch them more. I still think it comes down to what we were talking about, interior defense. Sabonis is great at a lot of stuff, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Can you have 3 20-point scorers, but are they going to be able to stop anybody? Like, these are like serious questions. So they took a step, but not enough to make noise, in my opinion.
Okay. What do you think, Tyson?
Yo, real quick, man. Shout out in the building, y'all. But it is getting harder and harder to where it is getting, man. Like, the Bulls management has been abysmal for a long time, man.
Very long time.
What the flip mode squad are we doing, y'all? I have no clue, man. First, we're building this team. Y'all realize when we had actually Lonzo Ball, we were tearing in the right direction. We were a pretty good team.
Yes.
We were actually contenders in the East. Unfortunately, he got hurt. I don't know why in the meantime we didn't try to get another point guard, because that's all DeRozan and Levine needed was a decent point guard.
Right.
So now we fully give up. Y'all heard about the tension with Levine and the Bulls right now. So he's not coming back. And then we get rid of DeRozan. So we starting all over again.
That's
Yo, this is terrible. But I will say this is a benefit to the Kings. Because remember, the Kings 2 years ago, they said they were going to be that team. When the Warriors beat them in the playoffs 2 years ago, that next year was supposed to be their year.
Right.
You know, we didn't hear from them at all. They made no noise last year.
They haven't liked that theme in years. Boy.
Right.
I don't see it. I don't see it, guys. DeRozan going to the Kings. I don't see it. That's a fast-playing team. DeRozan is not a fast break type of player.
He wants to take up that clock. Yeah.
He's going to slow the ball down. He's going to slow the game down. He's also kind of ball dominant as well. So I'm not seeing this as a good fit whatsoever, honestly.
Yeah. I don't see how Fox and DeRozan, neither of them are good three-point shooters. Both of them need to be in the paint area. So that's they're going to have to get another shooter out there. Who don't they have? I don't know. Let me look this up. But
I know they still cap Malik Monk. That's also a good sign.
So that's
keep somebody that's of importance here.
He's up and coming.
Yeah. Well, they got Kevin
and
Herter,
my man, what's his name again? Keegan Murray. Is that what you're talking about?
Keegan Murray, but I'm talking about on the 3-point line. Somebody kick it out to the wing. They got Kevin Herter. So that's
but I don't think that's really that's not enough.
No,
I think that's the King story. It's not enough. It's just not enough. Interesting, but it feels a little desperate. Like if DeRozan is part of your big three, you're reaching a little bit. Let's just keep it real.
What he did, he has balled out recently. We just don't hear about him because he's on the Bulls. The Bulls don't get us coverage.
It's real solid player, but he's not a take you over the top player. And I don't know if that's
not for that team. Now, let's say if DeMar DeRozan went to the Warriors, I might have been like, okay, that might be take you over, over and exceeding.
Kyle, I don't even see that. Because we're talking about the Warriors style of defense where they're doing a lot of moving off the ball. I've never seen DeRozan in any type of scheme, in his career where he's constantly moving off the ball, really at all. This man, he'll go to a spot on the block real quick. Let me get it right there. Or, he's shifting from up top and doing his own move. But this dude ain't coming off screens, man. They're not running to action,
Bell, you did mention Levine earlier, who plays for the Chicago Bulls, but there has been rumors that he is trying to go out west, where he might possibly team up with the Los Angeles Lakers or the Golden State Warriors or some other Western team. Do you think that Levine is even suited for Western Conference play? What do you think about that, Tyson?
I don't, at this point, Levine just needs to focus on staying healthy. I think he believes he wants the hype. He really likes the attention. So that's why he wants to be out west. Like I said before, the Bulls, they don't get much coverage. So he knows if he goes to the west, he's going to get more coverage. He's going to get more love. He can, I guess, sign more deals and hop on the All-NBA. But I don't think he's really put in the work necessary to reach these next levels. I think, man, he has more of a mentality like I'm already nice. So there's not other areas of my game I need to really work on. He's a great one-on-one player, but in terms of being a ball player, assisting, like understanding where your other players in, because they're going to constantly W, because he's nice at getting to the rim and shooting. But the IQ, his IQ is low. The shots that he takes are not good shots. It seems like he's forcing the ball a lot of times. So whether he stays in the East or not, I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think it's really who he plays with, some veteran presence, somebody who's really going to be like, bro, like these are aspects of your game, bro. This is why you were slacking in the Bulls. That's why you have become the star that you really wanted to be, because, you haven't put in the work or the effort.
Juwanza, what you think?
I feel like LaVine reminds me of a slightly better Kyle Kuzma. And I'm saying that as a proud Wizards fan, right? And we're going to talk about the Wizards in like 2 years. Just wait. But it's all right for right now.
That's what y'all said a decade ago.
We building right now. It's all good. But he reminds me of a slightly better Kyle Kuzma in that Kuzma loves a stylish play. Like that's his thing. And those are usually low percentage plays. They tend not to go well.
Right.
But could be helpful. He can help a team. LaVine can be a good player. He is a good player. And I would be interested in seeing him go to another team. But this goes back to what you were saying, Tyson. I'm not fully sure what the Bulls want to do. Because if you trade him, you want a star back, at least someone at a similar level. And, we're talking about a lot of rumors about Lakers and all that. Lakers can't do that. They don't got nothing for you.
Ain't got nothing, bro.
They don't got any kind of assets. And so the question is, what do you want back? Or are the Bulls cool with just restarting? Give us a couple of picks in 4 years and we'll worry about it then.
Right.
I'm not sure.
And that's the tough part, bro. Because if y'all heard, man, there's not a market out there for LaVine for real.
Right.
Because first of all, man, I mean, how reliable is he? And staying healthy. And it's all about what have you done for me lately? And what has he done? He's incredibly injury prone, man. It can't be consistently out there on the court. He's not consistent with his numbers. So we're not, and I think that's what the issue is right now, because the Bulls they're not going to get what they want back at all. We're not getting a star back for LaVine.
No.
Who's trading? What star could we possibly get for LaVine at this point?
Yeah.
None.
I couldn't think of one who matches him. Like, is he even considered a star right now?
It has to be young players.
Yes. He's a star in Chicago. He's a star in Minnesota. So he has star. He's a star. He's just not a consistent star. He's like, he has that potential. Like you said, just injuries are really just plaguing him and the Bulls just in general. And so I don't know what Chicago's medical staff is, but y'all need a whole new renovation on that medical staff.
And what was up with that Caruso trade? I didn't get that at all.
Where did Caruso go? Where did he go?
Thunder.
That's an amazing pickup for the Thunder.
Thunder are going to be a problem.
Bro, I've been telling folks, they should have, real talk, they should have beat Dallas. They should have beat Dallas. If they beat Dallas, bro, they would have really I don't know if they would have gotten back past Timberwolves, but they're going to be a problem moving forward, man.
Yeah. In my opinion, Caruso is a top 5 wing defender. I've seen him shut players down. You add him to that Thunder roster?
It's around, man.
It's with Dort and them. Yeah,
with Dort too?
Right. Right.
Dort, one of them coming off the bench, constantly locking up a player, picking them up full court. Remember, that's what they did to Luka.
Yeah, that's what it is. Kyrie will be taken out the game. It's a wrap. And so, and then getting Giddey back, what are we doing here? It's confusing.
Who was not existent in the playoffs? But that's what I'm saying. Bulls management, man. All them Negroes need to be fired, bro. It's tough, man.
I thought Giddey went to the Bulls, right? I'm not tripping now, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a trade for Caruso, straight up. Caruso for Giddey. I don't get that at all.
I don't know. Either way, we talked about it earlier. If Zach LaVine goes to the Warriors, that might be some potential there. But speaking of the Warriors, we wanted to get to a basic conversation about the idea of how good is Stephen Curry. Now, we've seen the stats, we've seen his gameplay over the years, we've seen his championships, we've seen his MVPs and his finals MVP. But there's still some chatter about whether or not Stephen Curry is, in fact, as great as he thinks he is. So I want to hear some opposition first, and then we'll see how we can go from there. Juwanza?
Can I preface this real quick, Kyle? Can I preface this before
please feel free?
Because the hate is about to get real, man. So I just want to preface this by saying, ladies and gentlemen, Juwanza has, we had a discussion the other day, and, he spewed a lot of blasphemy, and I didn't think he was serious about what he was saying. But now I want to make this public about what he was saying, and definitely want him to, have the floor. Juwanza, please, sir, if you may.
So let's just break this down in real simple, easy terms. All right. First, I thought, like Kyle, you said something super important. How good is Steph Curry, and is he as good as people say? And I think the more important question is he as good as he thinks he is?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is absolutely, positively not. He can't be.
Wow.
Because Steph Curry, and thanks to Kerr, is convinced he is God's gift to basketball. But that's off the court. That's off the court. That's we all know that. Tyson loves to call me a hater, and I'm not. This is just facts here. I can't be a hater if I say this. Steph Curry is the best shooter of all time. A hater can't say that. After that is where we have an issue. I can list, and I actually had a quick list here prepared for you. I'm just throw out some quick names. Maybe you're familiar with, maybe you're not. Magic, Oscar, West, CP, Isaiah, Stockton, Nash, Kidd, Parker, Pete, even Pistol Pete. That's off the top of my head. 9, 10 players who are better point guards than Steph has ever been. Steph is a one-dimensional player. Steph should go down as a great, amazing, the best shooter of all time. After that, he does nothing else that is great, that is amazing, and the rest is like slightly above average, in some cases below average.
I do have a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me make sure I've learned this terminology recently. Let me strongman your argument so I can understand your perspective. Are you saying that Steph is a shooting guard parading as a point guard, and therefore when we're talking about the idea of him being one of the best point guards in the history of the NBA, he doesn't qualify based on historically great point guards and their ability to control the floor? Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
That's exactly it. And to be more specific, Steph is a specialist. He belongs in the Reggie category, in the Ray Allen category of amazing, life-changing shooters. One simple question before I pass it off, because I can go on this for a long time, so I'm not going to. Simple question that people don't think about. Steph gets unfairly placed in the point guard category the same way sometimes AI gets placed. So let's just compare them real quick. Could Steph take that AI team with Eric Snow and a bunch of random players to the finals, and then ask yourself, could AI, if he was on those Warriors team, take them to the finals? Simple question. That's just what I want to start off with. I'd love to hear the answers.
Tyson, what are your thoughts? Because you are an avid Warriors fan here. I think that you probably have some points you'd like to bring up.
Well, I gotta finish calming down from this outrageous statement. So I'm gonna let you handle that real quick. I'm gonna let you handle
Okay,
that.
so I don't know if I would be able to answer that question, because if Stephen Curry was in that era of gameplay, he probably gotten destroyed simply because of the physicality of that style of play at that time. But they also didn't know how to guard the three-point line, so he'd have been bringing his shooting skill and his range to that era where nobody is familiar with it. So he could possibly have done as much damage in that era just from the shooting ability. We didn't necessarily look to AI more than what Steph Curry is capable of doing, stealing the ball. So we're not saying that, an on-the-ball defender was AI. AI just played the passing lanes. He was excellent at stealing. And I think Stephen Curry was able to do the same. So I think that he probably would have gotten them there in that type of conference at that time. Probably still lose to the Lakers regardless when they got to the finals at that time. AI in the West, depending on the era, he would have been okay. They probably would have won it. they probably would have still won it. So, but what I hear you comparing is greatness to greatness. And I think that's also a compliment to Stephen Curry. Allen Iverson is one of the greatest of all time, point blank, period. And so is Stephen Curry, in my opinion. But I have other thoughts, but I just want to be a filler until Tyson was able to woo-saw his way into a conversation. So what do you say?
Here we go.
Following up after you, Cal. Following after you. So I just want to state, because you brought up a good point, consider one of the all-time greats. So Juwanza, you placed him in a category stating he is not one of the best point guards of all time. So are you also stating he's not one of the greatest of all time, one of the great players of all time as well?
Well, one of is a strong term. So I'd have to do it like 50.
Is he top 10?
No, he's not. 12 to 15, somewhere in there. A lot of people are putting him before KD, which makes no sense to me at all. So wherever KD is, Steph is right after that. So we're talking about 12 to 15. So one of the top 15 to 20 players, sure. I got you. Great player. Absolutely.
Before I address the fiery hate, I just want to know. So you stated you had to place them into the category of just pure shooters. So you're stating that if we put Ray Allen on the Warriors instead of Steph Curry, Ray Allen will do the same thing that Steph Curry did. They'll have 4 championships.
Well, let me explain it like this. One, Ray Allen has a better overall percentage, if I remember, from 3. 2, Ray Allen has and always was a better athlete in terms of athletic explosion and being able to take people off the dribble. Steph rarely, he drives a lot for sure. But his favorite thing is to step back to 45 feet and chuck something, right? So Ray Allen would have, to answer your question, would have done just as much damage as Steph in that Kerr system. They would have gotten at the probably same amount of rings in the
same amount of rings. Okay, with Ray Allen.
Amount of rings.
Right.
Okay. Unlike, now I disagree real quick with Kyle that Steph would have taken a trash team, one of the worst teams ever that went to the finals, like on AI's team. Steph would not have done that, because Steph doesn't like lead teams in the same way that all the great players have as well. That's also just undeniable fact.
Okay. I just wanted you to acknowledge that on camera. That Ray Allen would have been put on the Warriors and they would have run the exact same. So let's take a step back if we can. If we could just rewind just a little bit, man. Just reel it in a little bit. So you even admitted that, what did Steph Curry do during that time? He changed the game, right?
Ruined.
The era of the big man.
Ruined is the word I used.
Changed, ruined.
Yeah.
Why? Why did he do that once? Because, he's a pure shooter, right? He's a shooter. What did he do with the big man? Since he was shooting that for so far, the big man had to come up on screens, right? They had to come up past the three-point line. What did that do, Juwanza? What did that do? That opened up the rest of the floor, right?
Open up the court,
Open up the rest of the floor for, I guess, maybe other shooters to get hot, like Klay Thompson, the other little shooters. It opened up the whole offense, right?
Yeah.
Which changed the entirety of the game, because big man almost became non-existent because the game's changed, because the floor is more open, because now you got the big man coming all the way up and opens a lot more players. Nobody's playing down in the paint anymore. But and let me just throw this out here. We're talking about impact on the game, the impact on offense that Steph Curry has made. We can't just put it in the shooter category, because if you're, just a shooter, you focus on the shooter. Ray Allen coming off screens, you gotta defend for that. What is one thing? And I know once you listen to these podcasts with the NBA players.
I do. I'm a fan. Yeah.
When NBA players talk about Steph Curry, what do they say? About defending him? No, about defending him.
It's hard. Listen, he's the greatest shooter of all time. It's hard.
No. Why is it hard to defend him, Juwanza?
Because their action starts at like 32 feet, Tyson. That's why.
Why else?
Why else? Me if
why else? Why did Dellavedova almost pass out during the finals?
Well,
guarding Steph Curry.
He's a bum. That's the first
Well,
part
he
of
was guarding.
that.
Why do a lot of players who go work out with him defend him? Why do they have such a top? Why is it the most exhausting thing they've ever done? Because he's constantly moving. He's constantly in action. Something of the likes, Juwanza, we've seen no other shooter do.
Yeah.
Something of the likes we've seen no other player do.
That's a
because
bad thing.
he is more effective as a point guard off of the ball than with the ball. You can't say that about any other player, especially at the guard position. Now, Juwanza, here's why he's multifaceted. This is why he impacts the game like nobody else. Does Steph Curry have handles? Can he take somebody one-on-one? So he can take somebody one-on-one.
Yeah.
He can bring up the big man, take them, dissect them up, lift them up, have them fall on their knees, shoot over them, or go to the hole, or pull a mid-range, or he can give it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And walk around, which does what? Gives the Warriors some of the best offense the NBA has ever seen. Why? Because of the influence of who, Juwanza? Let me just throw out a stat real quick.
All right,
go ahead. Little stat.
Go ahead.
You know his plus minus in his career? He has the 5th best plus minus in NBA history.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you knew that. Because of the impact of him on the floor, because you have to know at all times where he is in the action. Is that not true?
Can I respond to so many of these fallacies here? First, we all know plus minus is a nerd stat that doesn't accurately define anyone, because Jordan plus minus isn't as high as Steph. I don't know what does that mean. I guess you're taking Steph over Jordan. But what you're talking about running through these screens, that is not a good thing. Steph needs 3 to 4 screens to stay in the action. That's to get open.
Ray just admitted that he could take people off the rock because of his handles and his game.
But what is the majority?
Unlike Ray Allen in them.
What's the majority, though? The majority is him having to run through a bunch of screens just to get open.
Because it's better for the team offense. Unless you want him to go to a one-on-one game like Luka Doncic or Kyrie, the people who really don't impact. I mean, we could go like Harden. You want him to be a Harden? Just take it from the top, run the clock down.
Reggie and Ray Allen, how did they score as many threes as they did without having to run through 6 screens?
Off picks? What you mean?
And they were the sole focus offensively of their team, the main focus offensively of their team.
Off picks.
And so they didn't have the help that Curry did. They didn't have the screens that Curry did.
They didn't have the screens that Curry did. In Miami, Ray they had the screens.
I would disagree.
Please, Kyle, please take it, Kyle.
Just because we gotta keep it controlled here, fellas.
We're talking
about a lot of
things
at one time. Just my personal opinion, the Warriors are a team ball playing team. They play team ball. It's not about ball dominance between the point guard and any other player. In fact, they probably share the amount of minutes or possessions between he and Draymond Green oftentimes. They play team basketball. Ray Allen at his best was not the focus on his team. He was a role player on his team when he won with the Boston Celtics and when he won with the Miami Heat. When he was with them, he was not the focus. They had Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett to contend with. They had LeBron James and Dwayne Wade to contend with. We could talk about Reggie Miller. Yes, he was the main focus at that time. But when we're talking about this idea of Steph's capability, in my opinion, Steph, he has the handles. He has the ability to shoot. He has the vision. It's not like he's a bum with assists. He's averaging about 6.4 assists in his career. When you talked about Steve Nash, there are 2 things I wanted to look up. Steve Nash, you would consider him one of the great point guards, right?
Yeah.
He shot 43% from the 3-point line. He averaged over 8 assists in his career. And he had seasons where he was averaging 11 assists in his career. His only downside were two things. He only averaged 14 points in his career, and he had never won a championship. And we're going to now compare that with Stephen Curry, who's averaging about 24 points a game. And he's shooting about 42, a little over 42% in his career. And we compared Ray Allen for his career. Ray Allen only shot 40%. So unfortunately, when we're looking at these apples to oranges types of situations here, we can say that Stephen Curry is actually a legitimate point guard. And I think that that's something we need to consider, to just reconsider, because we can table this conversation because we had Hall of Fame discussions to go to as well, but we don't have the time for that. But let's table this conversation and start off with how good is Stephen Curry as a point guard and as a player later on, in addition to the Hall of Fame discussion. But I love the lively conversation that we have, and this is why we brought you on, Juwanza. I don't want to be the one to give either of you the last word, because both of y'all will try and sway the congregation after that. But we're going to keep it there for now, because we have more conversations coming up in the forthcoming episodes. I think that this is a good place to put a break, catch a breather, watch some highlights on YouTube, and come back later for further conversation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Juwanza, I do appreciate you hopping on, man, and I hope that you enjoyed the conversation for what it was.
Even though we disagree with most of it. Yeah, man.
That's all. It's all love here. It's all love here for sure.
I truly
What are your
appreciate
thoughts?
y'all. Thank you for the opportunity. You might have been wrong about a lot of stuff, but I am thankful to be here with you all. This was fun. Hopefully we can do it again. I'm a fan of the podcast. I'll be trying to put some stuff out for you guys. Everyone check out Clutch Buckets. These guys are doing amazing things. Hopefully gonna change the podcast industry. And y'all keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to be right all the time. That's fine. Just keep doing what you're doing.
That's fine. we try. So yes,
appreciate you coming through and keeping it alive.
And thank you everyone for hopping on to this episode of the Clutch Buckets podcast. Be sure to comment, like, share, and subscribe. My name is Kyle Spence.
I'm Josh Tyson.
And this is Juwanza. And we out. Peace.
We up out of here, y'all. Till next time. Appreciate you, Juwanza.
Sir.